Tom Brady 2.0. Why comparing Shedeur Sanders to the GOAT isn't that crazy? In the world of football, comparisons often come cheap. Every promising quarterback gets called the next Brady, next Mahomes, or next Burrow. But every once in a while, a story surfaces that makes even the wildest comparison feel strangely plausible. This is one of those stories, the story of Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback, and why some are whispering that he might just be the next Tom Brady 2.0. At first glance, the comparison sounds absurd. Tom Brady is the GOAT. 7 Super Bowl rings, countless records, and a career defined by defying every odd imaginable. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, hasn't thrown a single touchdown pass in an NFL game yet. As of today, you, the reader, and Shedeur have the same number of passing yards in the league, 0. So why even bring this up? Because greatness, in its earliest form, rarely looks obvious. It's usually disguised as potential, buried under doubt, and waiting for one single opportunity to ignite. And when you trace the opening chapters of Brady's and Shedeur's careers, the draft day slights, the depth chart obstacles, the critics, and the determination, the similarities are striking. From overlooked to unstoppable, Brady's humble beginnings. When the New England Patriots selected Tom Brady in the 6th round of the 2000 NFL Draft, he was a footnote in football history. The team already had Drew Bledsoe, a former number 1 overall pick, a franchise hero, and the face of the organization. Brady was simply a camp body, a long shot to make the roster, let alone start a game. He entered training camp as the 4th-string quarterback, behind Bledsoe, John Freese, and Michael Bishop. Few people even noticed him. His scouting report labeled him as skinny, immobile, and a system quarterback. He ran the slowest 40-yard dash time of any quarterback that year. To most teams, Brady was invisible. But deep down, Brady had a fire that stats couldn't measure. He studied harder than anyone, stayed longer in the film room, and built an obsession with proving the world wrong. Every time he looked at the depth chart, it only added fuel. Then came September 23, 2001. The Patriots were trailing the New York Jets, and Drew Bledsoe, in a desperate attempt to pick up a first down, was crushed by linebacker Mo Lewis. The hit was so brutal it caused internal bleeding that nearly ended Bledsoe's career. Suddenly, the door opened for Brady. What followed became one of the most legendary underdog stories in sports history. Brady led the Patriots to an 11-5 record, captured the AFC East title, and then, against all odds, guided them through the playoffs. In his first year as a starter, he took down the mighty Rams in the Super Bowl 36, marking the dawn of the Patriots dynasty. Brady went from an afterthought to a Super Bowl champion in just 2 years. It was a reminder that opportunity is everything, and when preparation meets that opportunity, legends are born. Enter Shedeur Sanders, the modern-day underdog. Fast forward nearly a quarter-century later. The year is 2025, and another name is floating through NFL circles: Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Primetime Sanders, one of the most electrifying players in history. Shedeur's road couldn't have been more different from Brady's, at least on the surface. Brady was ignored. Shedeur was overexposed. From high school highlight reels to his explosive college career at Jackson State and Colorado, Shedeur's every move was analyzed, critiqued, and magnified. He was labeled as confident, sometimes too confident, and often criticized for being a coach's kid, benefiting from his father's fame. But when draft day arrived, all that hype didn't translate into first-round glory. The Cleveland Browns finally took him in the 5th round, well after names like Oregon's Dillon Gabriel had already been called. For a player once projected as a first-rounder, the fall was brutal. He sat in that green room longer than expected, his name echoing through silence instead of cheers. Yet it was déjà vu in a way, another quarterback overlooked, undervalued, and underestimated. Just like Brady. The Browns' situation didn't make things easier. Joe Flacco, a 40-year-old veteran, was the starter. Dillon Gabriel, another rookie, was already favored by the coaching staff. And there was Shedeur, the last man on the depth chart, waiting for his chance. To most, this is where the story ends. To the greats, this is where it begins. The parallels that can't be ignored. At first, it feels wrong to even mention Brady and Shedeur in the same sentence. But once you peel back the layers, the symmetry is uncanny. Both entered the league with massive chips on their shoulders. Both were drafted late, Brady in the 6th round, Shedeur in the 5th. Both joined teams that didn't have an immediate spot for them. And both have one defining trait that separates the good from the great: a refusal to be defined by others' expectations. Just as Brady spent his early years learning behind Bledsoe, Shedeur finds himself shadowing Flacco and Gabriel. He's been patient, quiet, focused. Behind the scenes, reports say he's been relentless in studying film, learning playbooks, and building chemistry with the second-string receivers. Those who've seen him practice describe him as surgical, precise throws, calm under pressure, unshaken even when defensive linemen crash the pocket. Sound familiar? It should. That's Brady's DNA. Why Shedeur's game translates to the NFL. Shedeur Sanders might not have the cannon arm of Josh Allen or the mobility of Lamar Jackson, but what he does have is something more refined: efficiency. During his final season at Colorado, Shedeur completed an astonishing 74% of his passes, one of the highest marks in college football. That wasn't just screen passes either. According to PFF, his accuracy metrics ranked among the elite. 1 to 9 yards, 89.4% completion, 3rd nationally. 10 to 19 yards, 68.8% completion, 11th nationally. 20-plus yards, 47.1% completion, 21st nationally. Those numbers tell a story, not of flash, but of precision. The NFL, unlike college, doesn't forgive inaccuracy. The windows are smaller, the defenders faster, and the margin for error nearly non-existent. Brady built a dynasty on that precision. And Shedeur? He might just be wired the same way. Love him or hate him, one NFC scout reportedly said, Shedeur throws one of the cleanest intermediate balls I've seen from a rookie. It's like he's measuring every throw with a ruler. The kid can play. He just needs his moment. Brady's words of wisdom, the message that stuck. When Shedeur slid down the draft board, one of the first people to reach out wasn't his father. It was Tom Brady himself. Brady, now a retired legend and mentor to several young quarterbacks, saw the familiar heartbreak. He texted Shedeur after the draft with a message that mirrored his own career journey. Dude, like whatever happens, wherever you go, that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199, so who can speak on it better than me? Use it as motivation. You're going to get your chances. Go take advantage of it. For Shedeur, those words weren't just encouragement. They were validation. The GOAT himself was telling him, you belong here. And Brady doesn't just hand out praise lightly. Those close to him say he sees a mirror of his younger self in Shedeur, not in stats, but in mindset. The quiet confidence. The belief that one opportunity can change everything. The relentless commitment to being ready when the call comes. The Browns' quarterback conundrum. As the 2025 season unfolds, the Browns find themselves in an all-too-familiar storm. Veteran Joe Flacco is struggling to keep up with modern defenses, while Dylan Gabriel has shown flashes of promise but also rookie inconsistency. The team's offense feels stagnant, predictable, lacking rhythm. That's when whispers begin in Cleveland. Could it be time for Shedeur? Fans, media, and even some teammates believe that a spark is needed. Someone who can command the locker room, spread the field, and bring the energy back. Shedeur, with his natural charisma and unshakable confidence, could be that ignition switch. The Browns don't want to rush him, but just like in 2001, when Brady stepped in for an injured Bledsoe, sometimes fate doesn't wait for permission. It just happens. The mental game, what makes a Brady, and maybe a Sanders? Brady wasn't born great. He built greatness through mental toughness. And Shedeur, too, has been tested long before the NFL. Growing up as Deion Sanders' son meant living under constant scrutiny. Every throw, every mistake, every word magnified. Yet, instead of breaking, Shedeur used it to harden his mentality. Those close to him describe him as ice cold in high-pressure moments, a quarterback who doesn't flinch when the lights are brightest. That calm demeanor is what coaches crave. It's what Brady had. It's what Shedeur might already have. "He doesn't blink," said one of his Colorado teammates last year. "No matter the score, no matter the pressure, he just looks at you and says, 'Let's go win.'" The waiting game. Destiny has its own timing. Shedeur's path, much like Brady's, may not be fast. It may not even be fair, but it might just be fated. Because football, at its core, is a game of opportunity. You never know when your moment will come. One injury, one bad game, one halftime decision, and suddenly, the world shifts. The question isn't whether Shedeur will get his shot. It's whether he'll be ready when he does. If history has taught us anything, it's that sometimes the most unlikely names carve the deepest legacies. 25 years ago, Tom Brady was just another backup with a dream. Today, he's a 7-time Super Bowl champion,